Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me and thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me watching this video. Today we will be making what I call office in a suitcase. To make this project we will need thicker chipboard. I will include information about the chipboard in the description. So for this project we will need one piece 3.5 by 8.5. We will need one piece 4 by 8.5. We will need one piece 2.5 by 11. We will need two pieces 4 by 11. And we will need four pieces 8.5 by 11. So all these pieces we need to wrap in paper. The way we're gonna wrap it, we will wrap all these pieces with the paper that we choose for outside of our project. For this project I will use paper from this collection, the Mariposa stack. I believe this is the second video I'm making with the paper from this collection. I absolutely love it. It has beautiful paper. This is, I don't know if this is third or fourth pack that I purchased. And I purchased this one from Joann Fabrics. For the outside, I chose to use this paper. And this is 12 by 12. The height of the project is going to be 8.5. So we will have to cut all the pieces to height of 10.5. So this is going to be my front. For the back and sides, I'm choosing this paper. So that will be also 10.5. And I need 3 pieces for the back. Actually, yes, we will need 3 pieces. For the top, we will need to cut piece to 6 inches. And for the bottom also 6 inches, so that's going to be top and the bottom. For the side we're going to need 8.5, and the piece I have is, actually we're going to need 10.5, and I have 10.25, but I will make that work. And the width we will need 5.5. And I will need another piece 10.5 by 6, and mine is a little bit shorter, but I can make that work also. Okay, so we're gonna wrap the chipboard that is 4 by 8.5 with the paper that I have close to 6 inches by 10.5. So to wrap this, and I will keep all the dimensions on the outside, so when we actually start putting this together, you can see which piece is going where. Okay. So I will first apply glue and glue all the chipboard to the pieces. So now it's gonna be chipboard 3.5 by 8.5. And I have paper 5.5 by 10.25, which should be really 10.5, but this is the piece that I have, and I can make that work. Ideally, you want to have 1 inch overlap, but you can go low as to 1/2 inch, but you probably don't want to go anything less than that, because if you have 1/2 inch on the side, you know, you can wrap it, but it's not as easy as 1 inch. 1 inch gives you better flexibility, so I wouldn't go any less than 1/2 inch on the side. So now those two pieces are for top and the bottom, and this is 12 by 6, both of them. So we will glue those two pieces, and I will do that off camera. Okay, I got those two pieces glued. And now I have 4 pieces left of 8.5 by 11. So I will glue the 3 pieces of this color, and this is the one that I chose for the front. So we will glue all of those, and I will glue them off camera. I don't want you to watch me just applying the glue and gluing everything. So I will be back after I glue everything, and I will show you what the next step will be. Okay, I have glued all of my pieces. So now we will score all of the pieces that we just glued. We will keep the same process for every single piece of the chipboard that we glued into the cardstock. So every single piece we will have to score all around. We fold over. We will run our spatula against all of the corners to make them really nice and crisp. Just like that. Then we will miter the corners. So I'm leaving a little bit of space in between the cut and the chipboard. There is a little bit of paper, just about the same amount as the chipboard thickness, maybe tiny bit more if that's what you like, but make sure that it's not less. And the angle, I am not cutting such a big angle because I do want to make sure that we will cover all of the chipboard. Okay, so now we will glue all these sides. We will make sure that everything is stuck. Okay, just like that we have our first piece done, and I will do one more with you. So we will score all around. We will fold over all four sides. Then we will run our spatula all against all four sides. Now we will miter the corners the same way we have done it in the previous piece. And we will glue. You can apply a little bit of glue around the chipboard so everything gets stuck really well. Okay, we got second piece done, and we will continue and every single piece that we have we glued to paper to a chipboard. We will continue, we will proceed with the same process. So I will do this off camera, and I will be back after I'm done to show you how this looks like. Okay, so I do have all of my pieces glued, and this is the front, this is the top and the bottom, these are gonna be the two sides, and this is two fold over flaps and the back. So we do have one more chipboard left, and this is actually for the front flap, the closure. So for this I need to cut the paper, and I do have this paper left from my previous project. So this is still 12 inches, and I will cut 4.5. So this is the last piece we need to glue. Okay, we will also also score. We will do the same thing as we have done with the previous pieces. So now we can fold this over on all 4 sides. Now we will run the spatula also on all 4 sides. Okay. So now we will miter the corners just like we did previously. Small angles. And we will glue. Okay, so now we have all the pieces glued, and now we will be putting them together. Okay, so now we're gonna have to start positioning the panels the way we will attach them together. So if you're using directional paper, this is really helpful if you follow this process, because we will have to concentrate on a direction. In my case, I'm not using directional paper on any panel on the outside with exception of the front one. So the front panel, this is the correct direction. Butterflies are flying up. So I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna fold it over this way. So then I'm gonna need the bottom. So this is gonna be the front. This will be the bottom. Then I'm gonna need the back panel, just like that. And then we're gonna apply the top. So this is the layout. As you can see from the top, there is a 4 by 11 that will be joined to 8.5 by 11. That one will be joined to another 4 by 11. And this one will be joined to my front 8.5 by 11. Just like that. So for right now, I'm gonna leave the front flap and the side panels alone. So we need to prepare everything to glue those pieces as I just described. And I will go over that again as we will be gluing them. But for now, we need to cut the pieces that will join all those parts together. So to do that, we're gonna have to cut 3 strips 2 inches by 10 3/4. And for that, I will use black cardstock. Okay, so we need piece 10 3/4. By 2. So let me just trim this so it's gonna be easier for me. So 2 inches, it's one piece. 2 inches, that's second piece. 2 inches, third piece, and I got 2 inches left, which I will use to glue the front flap. So we will use all 4 of those. So we will do this step by step. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna butt together those 2 pieces, making sure that they are straight on both sides. Just like that. Then I'm gonna take the piece that we just cut. I will apply the glue. And we will place just like that. So try to keep the same distance in here from the cardstock to the edge, just the way you have it on the other side. So this piece should be on the middle. So let's make sure that this is all stuck. Now this glue dries clear, so I don't want the glue to stick out, but you know, right by the cover. But if it's here, it doesn't bother me. You won't be able to see that anyway. So we positioned the first one. Now we're gonna do the second one. We're gonna put it here. Just make sure that you have everything even on both sides. And now I'm gonna position this one also on the middle, the same way we have done the previous. So I am gonna squish this just to make sure that this is all stuck. So now we have 1, 2, 3 pieces joined together. But if I turn this, I have 1 more piece left in here. So as you can see, 8.5 by 11, 4 by 11, 8.5 by 11, and here is another one, 4 by 11. So we will join that one too. And just like the other 2 pieces, I'm trying to position this on the middle. And let's squish this to make sure everything adheres. Just like that. So now I can take my top flap, but this, and again there's no direction on this one. At least I don't see one, so I'm gonna put it just like the other pieces, and we're gonna use the fourth one. Okay, just like that. We will squish it. And now, so I have my flap on the left hand side. So this is the flap that will be on the front. This is the top. And this will be the back. So we are looking at the back, and we will take the piece that measures 4 by 8.5, and we're gonna butt right against the back flap. So again, on this side we have the flap that will be on the front, this will be the top, this will be the back. So 4 by 8.5, you're gonna butt with the back, just like that. So now we're gonna have to cut additional cardstock for this portion. So because this piece is 8.5 inches, we will cut one strip that is 8.25 by 2. Okay, so now I want to make sure that everything is aligned, and you can see where these pieces are joined together. So that's your guide. So now I'm gonna apply glue here, and we're gonna glue it again on the middle. Just like that. So now, if I push this back, this is really large piece, so if I push this back, now we can glue this another side panel, which is 8.5 by 11, and we're gonna butt this just like that in here, which means we need to cut another strip of cardstock 2 inches by 8.25. So this is the leftover piece I have, which is 8.25, and we need to cut by 2 inches. So now I'm gonna butt this panel just like that in here. I will apply the glue, and I will glue it just like the other pieces, making sure that this distance It's about the same on both sides, and there should be 1 inch approximately from this joint to the end on each side. It doesn't have to be exactly, but you need to try it just to be at least close enough. So now at this point I don't want to bend anything. So what I'm gonna do, now we need to work on the opposite side. So I'm just gonna turn this around. Just like that. I don't want to disturb that glue joint right there. We want to make sure that everything is glued and stuck. Okay. So I will slightly pick this up. I do want to make sure that this is all glued, especially on those joints. So what we need to do is get to the other side. So you see, this is one side, 4 inches by 8.5, and then the large piece. So now we're gonna glue right on the opposite side another piece that is 3.5 by 8.5, and then we're gonna use one more of those large pieces, 8.5 by 11, right here. So we need to cut 2 more strips, 8.25 by 2 inches. One is gonna go onto this joint and another one here. So 8.25, which is correct. So we're gonna cut 2 inches, and we need one more 2 inches. Okay, so I want to make sure that nothing moved. I'm gonna apply glue to one of them, to one of the pieces we just cut. And we're gonna apply it right here, the same way we have glued all other pieces. Just like this. Okay, so now we have only one more panel left right here. So let's make sure that it's positioned straight. We're gonna take that piece, 8.25 by 2, and we will glue it the same way. I just want to make sure that the glue is really stuck, just like this. And now it is getting really late, but so I will leave this overnight. But when you're working on it, you should really leave this maybe for half an hour or so, just to make sure that all of the glue adheres before we start bending anything. So this is really what we have done. This is the position of all the pieces that we have glued. We have the front flap, we got the top. So the front flap I have red, the top I have black, center panel, which is the back. Then we have the bottom and the front panel. Those are the two side panels, 8.5 by, one is by 4 and one is by 3.5. Yes, one is 4, one is by 3.5, and those are the full size sheets, 8.5 by 11. So I will leave this just like that overnight, and we will finish this project tomorrow.